Hello, I'm Jay from Warrior Tactical Laserz, and I was going to do a short tutorial here to try to clear up a few issues. I have been asked a lot of times if this laser will burn matches, balloons, plastic. It seems I put a video in there that one laser was a little slow to ignite a piece of paper, and that was mainly because it was a new laser out of the lot of stock, had not been adjusted, tuned in yet, which anyone that knows anything about lasers knows what you got to do. So anyway, we're going to do a short tutorial real quick. This is briefly the items that I carry, accessories for all weapons, weapon mount, anything applicable for pistol, rifle, and bow, concerning lasers, mounting, scopes, and the like. First of all, we'll get to the point of issue here. On my eBay auction, I have, if you can pick it out between all the background items there. I have the DIY 445 NM laser do-it-yourself kit, which I have stated in there that I will be happy to assemble it for you. A discussion of that has to be done off of eBay in order to maintain the integrity of following the rules of their policy, which is nothing over 5 milliwatt, but that's another issue for another day. Every one of these I sold, I pretty much assemble for the people. We talk about it off of eBay, email, on our own private email, and there's no problem. There's no charge at all for anything. Okay, firstly, I need to get in line with the camera here. Okay. First of all, you need to take your converter of your C6 Aurora host, which is actually your battery supply tube, battery holding tube for the C6 Aurora flashlight slash build for your laser. Next, you'll want to get your diode, module, pill, driver combination. It's already pre-wired for you, if you so choose to put this together yourself. Main point of concern with this assembly is right here. This is the heart of it all. You want to make sure not to hold it on either end and let either end dangle, because that will definitely compromise the integrity of your solder joints at your pinpoints and at the driver. Driver comes supplied with the factory with very thin wires that I don't agree with, and I usually change, but this one I didn't. So first thing we want to do is you isolate your pill and take your converter tube and screw it on to the pill by actually screwing the converter tube down and trying as least as possible to move your diode assembly. Disregard that wire, that's for another application. Secondly, you want to grab your head, collect it in there as such. Again, trying to be as careful as you can. These will take quite a bit of movement, but the less the better, of course. It does have a very, very soft inner braid and outer insulation of silicone. This wire is very forgiving. It's even better than the wire that I first started using here a while back, and thanks to another good seller I've met there in eBay, Lee Dog Dash Cubby. He has a lot of accessories to offer there in eBay, and I should probably make mention of three other sellers I buy from quite frequently. One is Chuck of Axis _lasers of Houston, Texas. He's got I assume an armada of accessories and parts for your builds. And the first person that I actually bought from on eBay when I started a lot of these new builds was and I always have trouble remembering just exactly how he puts his ID down. DTR-LPF. He's from St. Louis, Missouri. Great seller. Very helpful. Good guy to deal with. Everyone I make mention of here very trustworthy and very proven, respectful. You can definitely buy and purchase with confidence with these people. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling you this. Another man that I've recently come to know is Rick Trent. His eBay ID is 423 RICKTRENT4. Rick Trent. He has a new system of a heat sink. It's about 1 inch in diameter, geared for your ultra fire 501B bills. Looks like a nice system. It's got a 2-piece configuration, 2 screws that will compress both pieces, both halves of the heatsink together while it compresses the diode, trapping it in its own recessed area, specially milled for the diode. Theoretically, it does away with your axis laser or axis module for your laser. Looks like a good system. I'm anxious to get it because I've got some things I want to try it on. So one other person I'd like to mention is Stone Tech, another great guy to deal with. And it's not that I'm being selective, but these are the only people really I've dealt with, so I can only speak of them by what I know. So there you go. All right, let's finish the assembly. You have your diode module unit ready to isolate in your heatsink. Normally, I would not leave the focus ring on there, but for the sake of time here, I'm going to go ahead and do that. It'll come right through the milled hole. These are CNC'd, and they've been sent off to be anodized for the blue ones that I had. You want to also make sure that you have a nice smooth relief there for your heat sink. Last thing you ever want it to do is bind, putting it down into the head cylinder. You'll get stuck, and it's usually a problem in the milling if that's the case. They don't go out of here with that problem, so you should never encounter that with me. But something, a point of interest to watch, because to get that diode out when your heatsink is stuck, it usually causes one piece to fail, and then it's a complete tear down and a whole new reassembly, a lot of times with a new part. So anyway, you want to pull your heatsink back out very carefully and very easily. Treat this like it's nitroglycerin. That's only to add that element of finesse to this, so you don't get too abrasive or aggressive with it. Find your set screw hole. Make sure that you've got your module. I like putting it even with the deck of the heat sink. That just seems to be a nice place for it to rest and make sense. Don't over tighten, don't strip your set screw out. There you've got your module tightened in and isolated. Now becomes part one of your heat sink. Go ahead and push that down. Let it seat in there. Make sure that by doing that, there's no hard push. Your silicone wire should take care of anything wanting to keep the unit heatsink from going down the hole smoothly with just a very, very small amount of tension as those wires loop and fold down and relax in there. So the most important part of this assembly, I would suggest, is when you get your bezel, put it on there, grab about your first threads, make sure it's starting nice and even, smooth and tracked, not threaded or misthreaded. Hold your heatsink isolated down to the seating position in the head of the host. Tighten the bezel down separately, 2 pieces aside from the just main concern is not to let that heat sink turn while you tighten it down, because you'll twist your wires and pull it right off the diode pin, and then you have to start all over again. So this is pretty much the laser in assembly. That's how long it took to put it together. This is the way you'll receive it from me, if so that you want to assemble it yourself. Most would rather me just take care of that. So it's ready to go for you out of the box. Either way is fine with me. There's no extra charge either way. This particular laser here has the gold tinted glass lens in it, which by Chuck down in Houston, Texas at Axis Laser. He's the one that carries this lens. There may be others, as far as I know. This is my source outplace for it. It lets 33% more light pass through. Definitely makes a difference between the 405 bluish tinted glass laser that is really geared for the 405, but works still great with the 445. But this gold lens was primarily made for the 445, so naturally it makes more sense. And it does also make a tremendous difference in the results of the burn. So very quickly, we'll hook this up. Same laser we built here. Excuse me. I'm kind of tired. I've worked about a 24-hour segment straight. Been a lot to do out here. We just bought a new house. For the local people that know me, we're in here at Goodman, the old Puppy Ridge kennel facility. We are starting back up our hybrid wolf program out here. And for anybody that wants any custom lighting done on their cars, motorcycles, anything you got automobile for an HID, your high intensity discharge application for your headlights, you know where to get hold of me out here. The phone number is 573-286-1862. Most of the kits I do are preferably the 6,000 Kelvin range, your white, diamond white. So I do a lot of other stuff on cars too, but we won't get into that today. We'll do first round on burn here. As you see, immediately it is doing the smoking, doing the burning, doing the grooving, cutting, making marks. I've tested and put these lasers consistently all the time through meters just to check them for the frequency of response and action here. What I do when I get a diode harvested out of the Casio projector, first thing I like to do is shine the light ray up onto the wall without the lens, and what I do from there is I kind of look at the clarity of the report on the wall, the blue. Actually, you're seeing the blue outline and image of the diode itself. Check for clarity. Sometimes you'll see little hair-looking things, or dark spots, or dark shadowed areas. There's your your black CD case, and as you can see, it goes right to town on that. But check for clarity and just things such as that. And if they don't look good to me, I don't use them. I just waste can them or put them in for a little less quality of laser. One that I don't promote is the good old blue burning one here. Through the meter, this lasers respectively 1.4, 1.5 typically, and nominally is where they always are at as a result of the way I check the clarity as I do. That seems to be an attribute related directly to the results I get on my builds. This is the short version of the laser, the 2-cell CR125 application. I do sell these extension tubes that allows for either a 4 CR123 battery configuration or a 2 18650 configuration. Your basically it's playing around with your voltage. The main thing is bigger battery, bigger battery capacity. The math figures out into longer running time, milliamps versus device demand per hour usage. So we all know pretty much about that. Okay, I even got a little stupid with these things, even to the point of ridiculous. I've had 4 or 5 of those extension tubes on there in different combinations of the 123 and 18650, just to see what I can get. I've got it up to 18.5 volts, which that's what this constant circuit. I'm tired. You'll have to excuse me here. Constant current driver here is rated at a 5 watt, 18 volt maximum input. I don't really see any difference, stronger or less, than the 2 battery to the 4 battery to 18 volt full capacity input to the driver. It does kind of feel like it has some effect on it, probably being in the stronger suggestion. But driver normally is designed to where by that constant current protocol that it doesn't exceed the maximum output that the driver was made to do. Gives you a hell of a big reserve on your battery, like we're using 2 18650s. We all pretty much know that if you're have anything to do with lasers at all, but it makes, I like the extension tube. It feels better, longer profiles, a little heavier. Of course, I'm always the guy that thinks more is better a lot of times. So anyway, that's the theory there. I carry many green lasers, anywhere from 1,000 milliwatt to 150, preferably on my laser mounts for the weapons. I like anywhere from 200 to 500, something good, strong, a little punchy. A lot of people would probably prefer no beam, and usually that's the standard when they design or put a combination applicable to a gun-sighted laser for the purpose for all good reason. It doesn't trace it back to you, but me, I'm kind of like my big old green lasers to on my weapon here, which is an example of some of the things I do. You'll see the 1,000 milliwatt on the top bank there, with a couple detachable barrel mounted mountings for the laser. Below is 1,200 milliwatt, or excuse me, 1,200 lumen flashlight 3-cell CR 123 warm light xenon made by Solar Force Corporation. The tight side mounts there, that's the IR for the infrared, which works only in conjunction with night vision, which I am also a dealer for the Yukon night vision opticals. On the other side, I have the same mounting with a 900 lumen Solar Force flashlight. Both are mounted in conjunction with Solar Force's remote tail cap here. Very nice piece of equipment. Has a quick disconnect with a threaded plug to go back in the hole. Momentary soft switch, tactical. Basically, the reason for this, if you'll take notice down here on the front grip of the weapon, you'll see where the soft pad remote pads are, pressure switches, and they actually have a well in there to accept this type of a pad that Solar Force makes. A little different than most of the pressure switches you've probably been used to seeing or have ever seen. These here are probably actually the best on the market, in my opinion. I've used just about everything there is. They're not a squishy air pillow. They're not the hard vinyl. You can feel the switch type. These are actually unbeatable. I mean, there's very there's very little mechanical movement in there. They're soft. They're very reactive. They're not. They're very close to switch. Just all around good switch. But what this promotes and allows you to do is disconnect the tail cap from the weapon without having to remove the pressure switches from the locations which you have it mounted in, which sometimes you have to use a double-sided tape or a wire tie, nylon cable tied to the holes in the quad rail. Different exceptions to the rule apply there, but in any case, you can quick disconnect your flashlight and use it as a handheld unit without disturbing any hookups that you have on your weapon. I'd like to take just a quick moment on this weapon in consideration. This is a AR-15. It is made exclusively and only by the Black Rain company. It's a personal friend of mine. For the local people here, that would be Chris down at the A1 Pawn Shop. He is also associated with people that do these guns, and he machines them himself as well. The barrel, I mean, this is probably the most highest end weapon that you can get, aside from your Colt, Bushmaster, universal arm receivers. The lower on this is actually CNC, the computer pneumatic controlled unit. It's not forged. It's geared for one purpose and one purpose only, to extract all tolerance from every part in the lower receiver, making it very dependable, jam-free. Take it in the mud, the water, the sand, whatever you want to do, come right back out firing. The weapon will always be assured to perform for you. I can say this is definitely the finest weapon that I have ever owned, and I have owned many and every type, and it's the difference between a go-kart and a Cadillac. There's no doubt about it. But that is www.blackrain.com. They have a lot of nice little icons on there and stamping exclusive only to their company and trademark. You cannot go wrong with this weapon. This is the one especially that you're glad to have and never have to use, and one that you're glad to have if you do. But in any other consideration, if you're an enthusiast, a collector, or for the purposes of which I do, for example, here a display I'm showing you, all-out finest weapon that you can get of this grade quality. Okay, briefly moving on, I want to make a quick mention of the one item of some of the custom work I do. I build a I build a tactical headlamp here using Magic Shine elements and units. They're readily available on eBay. I've used lights and done flashlights and gadgets and for years since I've been a small boy. And with this day and age and technology coming along, I'm finding a lot of things that are superior to anything I've ever seen before. This unit here is a Magic Shine as well. It's a 900 lumen with an SST50 emitter, 250 and 250. It has its own onboard battery pack in the pouch here, which I'll show you in just a minute. The other unit up here is a 900 lumen single unit to its own, also made by Magic Shine. These are applicable for bicycles, and they did intend it to have a head mounting application, but just for what it was, the elastic head strapping, like a lot of the ones that you get normally, and they don't last, they stretch out, and they barely hold the weight and the isolation of a unit like this. With the Yukon Night Vision, the 2x24 Viking model in there, it's a fixed head geared mounted unit in a binocular format that has a swivel up, swivel down, and about a ½ inch eye relief cupping around the eyes fixed to your head. You can run with it, get real evasive, and it becomes part of your head. I am in the works right now to modify and do another build using the Yukon unit 2x24 just as it is, as you buy it off of eBay, stores, wherever you want to buy it at. and I'm going to conjoin probably both of these units per application, one by one. One will have this one may have this one, but it will give you the option to go in complete night vision mode. That's the reason for the IR on the rifle. Of course, this will only be to those concerned. The IR flashlight is not seen by the human eye in that spectrum. Of course, it gets way up into the 808 range, I believe. And what it does, the effect basically is if we were normal ambient vision just by our own with a flashlight in the night, your IR will have the same effect. You can be 5 foot away from someone and be firing up your IR flashlight. That'll appear like a bright LED light to you through the night vision. The whole purpose and self-explanatory. Along with this unit here, I use two Coast good lights. They're very good lights. They're very bright. But I use these for the application of idle or just general purpose. This way it saves the battery consumption on these two units if you do not need it in whatever application, coon hunting, survival, camping, whatever you choose to do with it. These lower units will run probably 24, 25 hours. Last time that I kind of just let them run dead. They have two on board AAA battery packs on the unit that was actually a factory item with the light. I've done a little modification, added a power source DC power plug to it that also goes down to its own battery pack. So just that combination with these two lights alone, with that increase of the battery capacity there, I was getting somewhere around 65 hours. So total with these two lights, when you use these in whatever conservative manner you choose to, or all out, you'll get about 4.5 hours on high with all three units here per one battery pack. About the same with this one here. They're a little power hungry. That's why I decided to give it a little less consuming light on there that still gives you good area lighting when you don't need the spot beam and direct beam of high intensity lights. Batteries are basically configured. They are Magic Shine. They're waterproof. They have a very nice, and it's very hard for me to track the viewer here and do this at the same time. They have a nice waterproof rubberized encasement. There's 4 18650 batteries in these. These are the newer model batteries. I guess at one time they did have a little problem issue with it, but they've corrected that. They're very power precise, I guess is what you want to say. They have a very good delivery of power. They last a long time, and they run on 8.4 output. They must have some kind of driver or bump up circuit in there of some sort, some kind of a buck driver. So anyway, this is one unit that I have, and I have several different combinations of this same headgear light, depending on budget or what you want to spend. I have them in many different combinations, and these work great. Once I get these joined with the Yukon head mounting kit, which has actually a stronger, more preformed mounting for the head around the forehead that helps for isolating the unit, and plus it's just a little heavier duty equipment for a little higher demand if you still don't need it. Let me get back around here. I'm really tangled up in these lights and stuff here. Camera. Let's see. One more mention on the Solar Force flashlights here. I am an authorized dealer. They come in a lot of different combinations. This is their primary basic level grade tube, which is sturdy, strong, good fitment to seam, good integrity. It's not loose. This is their accessory attack, very aggressive assault bezel here. It's made from knowing metals like I do, I'd say it's relatively close to a 440 grade. but good enough. I mean, it's very strong, very durable. You're not going to bend it, and I've already tried that out. They have several different levels, dials, and shape of the attack assault bezel there, just depending on what you want. There's sources all over the internet that can show you their items, and you don't have to buy from me. I'm just kind of showing you what I do, and it's more of a hobby to me than anything else. I would like to mention something backing up on the lasers, because that's kind of what we're here for. Lasers, the standard, they say 60-minute duty cycle runtime, 120 seconds off. Good rule to follow, of course, but that's got a lot to play part on your heat sinking capacity and ability of the laser. So I have ran these lasers in the same configuration as what I've showed you before here. What I ran them up to 4 or 5 minutes. Don't follow by example. I have over 1,000 diodes, so I can play all day long if I want to. The only thing I've got to assess if I want to tear down and make another one, or if I just want to dig in the pile and load some batteries and go again. So that's kind of where you're at with that. It's probably best to follow those suggestions. I mean, you can use good common sense, and by feeling the outside of your host, that'll tell you also if you're too hot or whatever, because the diodes in nature themselves, being finicky like they are, they also love a lot of power, and usually will take all you can give them. The basic thing of this is in your heat sink. That's usually the weakest link in the chain. So just keep that in mind. I'm trying to buzz through this real quick. Again, I've been having questions. To the one video I put in there, one laser appeared to burn rather slowly. That was because that was a brand new laser out of stock. It hadn't been tuned in yet, and after it was tuned in, just a few segments through the video, it was burning wood like nobody's business, just like this here does here. At 40 feet, basically, this laser here will keep the beam tight, real close to 1/8 of an inch. Stays good and strong, collected deep, real brilliant. All the good stuff you want to hear. Conservatively, I would stand saying 1.3.5, 4, 1.5 is nominal where this lasers and the diodes usually run for me with the configurations, drivers, and the batteries that I use. I've seen 2 watts, and I've had 2 watts, and really, there's not much difference between this little 1.5 right here. Burns immediately. It's just as quick, just as powerful as any report that I've seen on any other 2 watts that are AC powered and otherwise through their drivers. But as you see, it's good and hot. Nice pinpoint, fine beam there. The gold glass lens makes a world of difference. There is just no comparison to the 405. Picking up that extra light pass, and with these diodes being an elongated diode anyway, that's always been an issue of trying to collect and collimate the dot and beam as much as possible, but the shape and nature that it is, you're still limited by the beast there. So it's not going to be like a red or green for anyone that doesn't really know lasers, but if you're looking for a burning laser, here's one. A push button away. If you decide to buy from me, it doesn't matter. So anyway, a match. I've been asking if the light matches, which of course it will. Let me get down here to where this is really awkward for me. I have to spot back in, and I'm burning my towel back there, it looks like. Instant burn. This is really a very hot, concentrated, strong laser. I'm totally happy with it. I've tried several other builds with drivers that you free wire in there and put wherever you can by space and fitment wherever it will fit. I like these C6s because they have a fixed place for the driver in the pill. It's made to be that way. It's kind of standardized, but still yet it's a lot more or less fail-free as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there's still other considerations you have to take normally you would with any laser, but nice clean build, everything's like it's supposed to be, and it burns like crazy. So anyway, I'll conclude this. Hope I've cleared up any questions. If you have any more, feel free to email me, and I also have my phone number on the auction site for any phone support you might need or questions you need to ask. I would like, I did forget something. I'm in the process of developing a new laser out of the Solar Force L2P flashlight. Keep in mind, this is just a quick mock-up, only for demonstration purposes, to give you an idea of what's to come. I really like it. It's still geared a lot towards your tactical purposes, but it still looks cool. I'm using the L2P, and this is the HA3, which is let me kick the zoom out here a little bit. It's HA3, which is a very, very high test, high grade aluminum, very hard. This is a CNC'd piece. All the joints, fitments are perfect. You can run over this thing with a concrete truck and not even phase the integrity of the tube. I'm working on heat sinks right now. Like I said, still kind of in process. I'm going to incorporate for one application, which this will have three. One application will be on a headlight mount with the C6 as the driver battery pack controller. Basically, it'll be basically like your remote, but it's just in the it contains the battery, driver, and all. The other configuration of this laser will be just normal with the battery and tail cap. You can use battery, tail cap, remote switch combination. As you see now, I've just got it stuck down the tube for demonstration purposes only. But this will be the new line laser coming out, and this one here will be built for a 2-watt performance application. And we got some other little tweaks that we're kind of working on. About all I can tell you right now is liquid cooling and heat sink and plumbing. That's about all I can elaborate on. I am using the module, the module diode. What I'm trying to say is it's all one unit. It's a 2-piece fin unit in there. You've probably seen it from Olike and several other places in there. They're just a unit contained themselves with the wire coming in the back here. But it'll have an assisted wrapped heat sink around this. You'll still be behind your assault pins here, your blades, so you won't lose the purpose of this. It's going to be a nice build. So keep your eye open for that. And I guess the only other thing that I kind of wanted to show off here is the